What's up guys, today I explain you a complete timeline of Vinland Saga. And don't forget to like this video, subscribe this channel. Now have fun with the video.
Writer and illustrator Makoto Yukimura's Vinland Saga debuted in 2005 and has since become one of the best ongoing seinen manga, charting a vast adventure inspired by real-world history. This historical drama follows Thorfinn Karlsefni as he embarks on a winding journey of self-discovery that takes him across Scandinavia and beyond. Starting with Thorfinn's unwavering lustful vengeance for the murder of his father to his evolution as an aspiring peacemaker, Vinland Saga is one of the most satisfying manga out now, with an excellent anime adaptation so far. The characters he meets on his arduous quest help flesh out this take on Scandinavian history. From the protagonist's troubled upbringing to the political intrigue of warring nations, Vinland Saga's vast timeline paints a detailed picture. As the first episode of Vinland Saga Season 1 animated by Wit Studio shows, war and its cruel ripple effects will be a running theme for the rest of this series. It begins with a flashback of the most relevant starting point for the story, with Thor Snorrason, Thorfinn's father, tearing through hordes of enemies in the Battle of Hrungavagar in 987. Visibly exhausted and disheartened over the toils of war, Thor takes the opportunity to abandon his warrior ways and the Joms Vikings he spent years training with and fighting for. In another, later flashback, it's revealed his wife Helga, and their newborn daughter Ylva were able to convince Thor's friend and Joms Viking ally Thorkel to plan their escape from this grim lifestyle. 15 years later, Thor and Helga live a quiet and peaceful farm life in the cold lands of Iceland with their daughter and young son, Thorfinn. At 6 years old, Thorfinn was a carefree child who dreamed of glory as a warrior and explorer, but things took a dark turn when his father's past came back to haunt him. Though he reformed into a sincerely compassionate man repulsed by war and even the concept of having enemies, Floki, a Joms Viking commander, discovered Thor's whereabouts to draft him in the Danish King Sweyn's war against the English. The former warrior complied with the conscription out of fear for his village's safety if he refused, but, unfortunately, this was a secret assassination order on Floki's part for Thor's desertion 15 years earlier. Askeladd, a Viking leader, and his band of mercenaries cornered Thor and his group on the sea and killed him, while the latter protected the young men and boys, including his son, with him on their boat. Thorfinn wouldn't see home again for several years, as the broken boy becomes hellbent on vengeance against Askeladd. The young boy joins the mercenary leader's outfit for 11 years to train and get stronger in their Viking exploits. Thorfinn's endgame would be challenging Askeladd to a duel and exacting his revenge. However, more complications would arise along the way, with Askeladd and Thorfinn getting tangled in the wartime strife and political tensions of Sweyn's war against England. This included clashing with the immensely powerful Thorkel, who has since sided with the English, thinking it would be good sport to satisfy his hunger for war. But he, Askeladd, and Thorfinn would eventually become retainers and bodyguards for Prince Canute. The meek young prince is initially a hostage in this war, but it's later revealed his father, King Sweyn, sent him amid this turmoil, hoping Canute would die. The king shared no love for his youngest son and deemed him detrimental to him politically. Effectively raised by his chief retainer and surrogate father Ragnar, the sheltered young prince had an epiphany after seeing the horrors of war in person. Canute resented his god, letting the world descend into violence and chaos, pledging to create a paradise on earth, and set his sights on his father's throne. The group resolves to help Prince Canute succeed his cruel father, devising strategies and dodging attempts on the young prince's life. They manage to avoid King Sweyn's wrath and suspicions, but things erupt into violence and bloodshed in the war arc final act and last stretch of the Vinland Saga anime's first season. When Sweyn announces his next war campaign in Ireland to his allies, he declares that his forces will invade Wales as a prelude. This breaks Askeladd's long-held cool composure, assassinating the king and slaughtering many of his soldiers. More than just a Viking, Askeladd was part Welsh and was sold into slavery by Vikings, despising the Danish father who reduced him and his mother to poverty, leading to the latter's death. However, Askeladd also used this opportunity to kill the king to give Prince Canute the perfect excuse to assert his dominance as his successor by executing him in turn. King Sweyn's shocking assassination and Askeladd's execution paved the way for one of Vinland Saga's most important story arcs. Studio Mappa brilliantly adapted the slave arc in Season 2 of the anime, thrusting Thorfinn into the next major milestone of his character growth. With Askeladd executed by now King Canute's hand, Thorfinn felt he had lost his only life's purpose and lashed out at the new king for robbing him of his vengeance, trying to spare his ally's life. He resolves to send him into slavery rather than execution. Thorfinn finds himself sold to Ketil, a farm owner in Jutland, Denmark, now 19 years old. A defeated and mellowed-out Thorfinn spends his days working the farmland, haunted by the trail of blood he left behind during his Viking days. However, he eventually meets and befriends Einar, a man from a northern English village with Norse roots. Einar's village and family were decimated by invading Vikings, leading to the young man being sold into slavery on Ketil's farm. Einar is initially frustrated by Thorfinn's seeming lack of conviction, eventually becoming enraged and nearly resolving to kill him when he discovers he used to be a Viking. But through compassion, bonding, and sheer determination, the two become friends and allies as they work their way to freedom and keep Thorfinn on the path of redemption.